Right, okay folks, welcome to another video. This video is something a wee bit different from what I normally do. Now, Chris Abbott is a name that you're probably well familiar with. Chris is a bit of a musical genius. He has been involved in the sort of the retro gaming music scene for a long time. He started off doing a lot of kind of cover versions of, Rob Hubbard, Martin Galway's tunes, but he's been instrumental, no pun intended, in putting on various live events, putting out CDs. I mean, a few years ago, he even managed to pull together an orchestra to play some of Rob Hubbard's music. So he's done so much. Now, Chris reached out to me a few weeks ago to make me aware of a new book that he has been working on quite literally for about 6 years. It's not just him that's been doing it. There's been various people kind of pulling it together, but he's been the main kind of driver behind this thing. And it says it's literally taken him about 6 years to put this together. So he very kindly sent me a digital copy to have a look at. And I'm one of these people, I don't get sent things for free very often. And if somebody is kind enough to give me something like that, I will always make a point of trying to trying to get it put out there to kind of help support the person. So I'm delighted to receive this. So massive thanks to Chris. So yeah, this is a book. It's all about Rob Hubbard. What can we say about Rob Hubbard that we don't already know? If you're a Commodore 64 person, you'll know that he was pretty much he was pretty much the guy that made people sit up and take notice that the Commodore 64 was capable of more than just little kind of beeps and squawks and whatever it was. He came out with some fantastic stuff. So listen, I'm going to this book, just to make you aware, it is currently available to, you can buy the PDF version, but you can also pre-order the hardback one. It will be coming out in a sort of coffee table styly hardback edition book. So what I will be doing is putting a link as to where you can get this book from. I've probably read about about a quarter of the way through it, but I wanted to get it put out here, let you guys just get a wee flavour of what the book's about, because I think you're going to like it. I really do. So anyway, this is the title page: Rob Hubbard, Master of Magic. You can see down here. I do apologise about the little hand moving about, but that's me obviously navigating my way through this. This is obviously the PDF version. Chris Abbott, Rob Hubbard and Ken McAlpine. So Rob was also involved in pulling this book together. So whoops a daisy, there we go. There's the mighty man, there we go. Rob Hubbard changed video game history forever. He was a Western master of game soundtracks, inspiring the industry and fans alike. Now C64audio.com brings you the definitive, official and authorised full colour illustrated photography that tells his amazing story from 8-bit to 16-bit and beyond. So you can see here who's been involved in it. Lots and lots of different people. Julian Rignall as well, yep. Andrew Fisher, Matthew Allen, one of my friends. Lots of big names. Jason Page, Chris Wilkins, etc. And the sadly gone Roger Keane as well. So anyway, there we go. Now what this book does is it effectively takes all these games there. You can see there. I mean, I would just having a quick glance at that, I would say that's pretty much every game that Rob has ever written. There might be one or two missing, I'm not quite sure. But what it does is, let me just move on to the next page. It describes how the tune came about, but we'll get into that in a wee second. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I'm just going to jump back for a wee second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read through maybe 2 or 3 of these. I'm going to look at Commando. I've got to look at Monty on the Run. Let me take a wee note. So 36 is Monty on the Run. Well, we'll scroll through it and see until we get to them. I'm going to look at these two for sure. So let me just kind of go through. Now this is a nice little thing. This basically gives you the timeline of what Rob was doing, where he was working, etc., etc. 1984. He was working on educational software in April. He composed the Blue Danube. Now, one thing I've completely omitted to actually say, there is also. I'm just looking at the actual the main web page for this. Excuse me. Right. Yep. The book. The page is. Sorry. When you get the PDF version or the hardback version, you also get access to 120 gig worth of media gallery, chip recordings, every single platform, every game, video remixes, source code, disassemblies, all that kind of stuff. You even get sheet music. So I don't think you access it directly through the book, but I'm imagining if you buy this, you'll get a URL, a link directly to where you can download all this stuff. So it's a phenomenal kind of collection of stuff. So this is a kind of timeline. It just takes you through, when he first put his thing. There we go. December extra, the Blue Danube, Theme from the Great Escape, original tune Rondo. January replies from he got a reply. Yeah, he sent off his a couple of tunes to Incentive Software and Mastertronic. February and March he did, or in fact February 85 he did Confusion, Action Biker, March 85, Thing in a Spring. So you can kind of follow it all the way through 1986. Let me just jump to there. All the way through, shows you the kind of the timelines of what he did. There we are, up to 1992, right up until, there you go, the present day. So this is an intro by Andrew Fisher. He's probably a name you're familiar with. Andrew's he's a very, very active member in the software, especially the C64 kind of community. I'm not going to let it spoil it at all. In fact, there you go. There is a list. If I click in that, yep, there we go. If you click in that, you then get taken to it's a Google Drive page. And it shows you all the it's got links to all the different stuff, all the music, images, etc., etc. I'll just close that down for a second. I'm not going to have any spoilers with letting you read that there. There you go. There's a young Rob. Now, one thing that I didn't realise, excuse me, Rob was actually part of a group called Muffin. Yeah, there you go. The main touring band is a 4-piece. We did 14 gigs in the week, one New Year's Eve, and one New Year's Eve they did 3 gigs. And even in Germany they played the Air Force's base. So, yeah, bonus point if you can spot Rob. There he is there. So it's evident that Rob did play a big part in this book, supplying obviously personal photos. There you go. A brief. Again, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. This is such a brief history of Rob by Chris Abbott. That's with Jules Holland. I think that's when he won. Did he win an award for that? I think he did. Yeah, I'm sure he won an award for a tune. The early days of the SID. Yeah, so he did start on educational software, and then I think what do you call it? Confusion was his first kind of main piece. There you go. Rob's first game commission from Software House Starcade came months before his official game music career started. So did he actually program that? I'm not sure if he did. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, let's so here we go. This is game number 1, Confusion. Let's read this one out. On Rob's first post-Ubik commission, a big idea needed Rob's ear. Work date was February 1985, and sometimes the fates just align. Let's say you're a software boss and one of your staff comes to you with an idea. My mate is in a band, why don't we get them to record a song for the next release? It's late 1984 and anything goes, why not? The game Confusion has been advertised for a while with what Commodore user called advertising stunts. So incentive for really throwing the kitchen sink at it. Then in early 1985, after having resigned yourself to the tune only existing on the B side of the program, you get a mail shot and demo from a C64 musician called Rob Hubbard, offering freelance services at low prices. Well, you'd be a fool not to give him a ring. And so it was that Ian Andrew of Incentive hired Rob to convert a song from the band Private Property, headed by Matt, not Manic Miner, Doctor Who, nor Amiga Power Smith, called Confusion. Apparently the song was actually called Phoenix when it was written, but that's a terrible name for a new game, blah 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 blah. It goes on to obviously the systems that were ported across. It gives you reviews, how the actual tune was reviewed. It even talks about the driver update. Rob wrote his own drivers for music. So it goes into so much detail for each game. Let's have a wee look. There's Action Biker, Thing in a Spring. Thing in a Spring was probably the first. It was the first tune that people really sort of sat up and took notice of. Yeah, there you go. Gary Penn. This game has incredible instant appeal due to the exceptional piece of music I've ever heard anything so marvellous on the C64. Great sound effects and the excellent character. Have to disagree. I don't like Thing in a Spring. I think the game is overrated, but the music is great. Julian Rignall said the sound is unbelievable. I won't describe it, but wait until you hear it. Words fail. Yeah. Sound 98%. The London Symphony Orchestra might just sound better. Right, we're going to read this one because I have made no secret of the fact that Monty on the Run is my favourite C64 tune, bar none. There's probably been stuff that's come out that's surpassed it on a technical basis, but I just think that Monty on the Run, it's like the Bohemian Rhapsody of Sid music. It's something like, is it not something like 6 minutes long? It's every time you hear something impressive in it, it goes and changes that again, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. So let's read this one, in which Monty on the Run, in which our intrepid hero learns what a pastiche is and Ben Dalglish guest stars. It might have never happened. According to a gremlin in the works, Peter Harrop, the creator of Monty Mole, was a bit put out that he wasn't asked to convert Monty on the Run to the Commodore 64 himself, but instead it was the game that the Micro Projects team jumped straight into after finishing Thing in a Spring. Having just established Rob as their go-to guy, he was straight into another meaty task, little knowing that this would launch his career to the stars after Thing in a Spring launched at Moonwise. Excuse me. One wonders if Peter Harrop had done it himself, Monty on the Run would be in a Ben Dalglish track. There we go. Rob's back. Once again, we turn to Mark Hardis. Was that Hardistley? I can't even say that properly. Hardisties, a gremlin in the works for more background. Jason, you turn to Rob Hubbard for the music again. Jason, he was our music man after Thing in a Spring. I think Rob came down again after chatting on the phone and we briefed him. The development period was so short there was no point for anything else. I gave him a list of sound effects and Rob came down with the part finished ideas, and then Rob, being Rob, he returned home and got the job done. Was Rob more expensive now that he was an industry name? We definitely paid him more money, but the relationship wasn't different. He was the same Rob, We agreed a price which I think could have been £750 for Monty in the Run. So it did go up, but he did a number of different tunes. I know Ian wanted to deal with him directly instead of going through us, and we didn't have any more dealings with Rob from then. Did Rob give you a choice of music? I had choice on the music. It's Charles Williams' Devil Gallop, the theme tune from Dick Barton's Special Agent. I bought an old record with all sorts of old songs. As soon as I heard it, I had Monty in the Run. Here's a tune that really stands like you're legging it. That's the music I wanted. Unfortunately, Rob Hubbard says, no, I can't use that, it's copyrighted. Did that worry you? A lot of games back then featured copyright music. It worried Rob. I just expected him to stick it in, but Rob took it away and worked in it. You can tell it's based on Devil's Gallop, but it's a completely separate piece of music in its own right. It just maintains the speed of the sample I wanted. I was truly gobsmacked at what he had done. Right, listen, I don't think it's right that I read the whole thing. You can see, the in-depth that they go to. I want to see what Zap are saying about it. Julian Rignall, during the action, an ace tune pounds away, complete with Eric Clapton guitar solos and violin bits. Truly wonderful. The bit of music on the high score table is another masterful composition. Gary Penn says, the first thing that really impressed me about this game was the incredible piece of music that bursts forth once the program is loaded. Full of clapping, violins, some nifty little twiddly bits, and even a brilliant guitar solo. It's certainly the best I've heard on the C64 yet. I keep saying this and someone always seems to come up with something better. It's almost worth buying for the music alone. Rob Hubbard is a Sid Chip wizard extraordinaire and has nearly squeezed every last drop out of it. What did we know, eh? But yeah, again, it talks about the driver update, etc. that they use for each kind of game. So let's just, there's finders keepers. We've got kind of hand-drawn notes. It's got the sheet music for finders keepers. Hunter Patrol again, sheet music. If you're off that kind of slant, you can play along on the guitar or the keyboard. Strongman, one man in his droid. Hope Jerry the Jerem. Jumped too quickly there. Commando. Oh, there we go. Yep. Right, I just want to see what it's saying here. Regarding Rob's visit to Elite, it was a mega rush job. He came down for just one night and got the whole lot done in that day. I remember the game was almost finished except for the music. The music player I had at the time was rubbish, so it was decided to get Rob in to do some impressive stuff since it was considered to be a premium license. Commando's a brilliant Sid, considered to be one of Rob's best and a great example of how he could take inspiration from one source and transform it into something that entirely reflected his musical personality. On top of this cake that created in A Night Story is the icing. But when was this mythical night? What hurry were they in and what happened next? Chris Butler told in a rare interview with Gary Penn in Zap 64 issue 17. The problem is, did he tell it accurately? Because there is an epic clash of timelines. I was told to write Commando, which took about 8 weeks to write. It was a real rush job because I started in October and it had to be finished by November. It was a bit messy because I had so little time and it was the first time I had split sprites. Yeah, what was the main character disappearing every so often? They paid a heavy price for Rob's music, and that wasn't just Rob's mini bill in the hotel. Well, it was all in there. The game was it's completely finished, but then Rob Hubbard came down. He said that he had needed about 6k for the music and there wasn't room, so Steve Wilcox, the man, said, right, hack out level 3. Seriously? Really? I didn't realise that actually. So they actually reduced level 3 to get the tune in. It was more or less a disaster, but considering it was 8 weeks work, I don't suppose it was too bad. It made Christmas #1 and it made me a small fortune. Wow, that's good to hear. I'm delighted to hear that. So there you go. Yeah, the game itself was written in 8 weeks and the music I think was written in one night. Again, it goes into so much detail about the track. It's fantastic. Crazy Comets. That was the Sid tune. I don't mind telling you this. That was the Sid tune that my mate Panther heard on a friend's C64. He heard it and he went out, sold his Spectrum, and bought a Commodore 64. So Crazy Comets, again, it gives you all information. I mean, every bit of information you could possibly want. Zoids, awful game, great music, Master of Magic. It was probably the music in this game that made me play the game. I always thought that the music was reacting to what was actually happening on screen, whereas that's not true. The Human Race, again, another one of these games. It doesn't get a great review, but again, the music was fantastic. The Last V8, oh my god, I mean, where do we start with that? The Last V8, awful game, completely unplayable, but the sound and the music in it was just something else. It really, really was. Chimera had great speech. Phantom of Asteroid, Game Killer, I remember that. Rasputin, I'm not sure of that one. But yeah, you can see Formula 1 Simulator, that was another excellent one. You know, there's I think there's something like 370 odd pages. It's about 350 odd pages, which is just phenomenal. The amount of work that has gone into this is something else. There's a lovely Sam Fox Strip Poker. I think I've come across that game before. Bump Set what's it called again? Bump Set Spike. Yeah, it was again, I can hear the music. Something like that, only much better. And again, what you could do is, I said, you can download all the music for all these games from the link that is supplied, and you could be listening, you could be reading through and listening, having the tune getting played at the same time. Thrust, another absolutely monumental masterpiece. Ninja, I remember that one as well, yeah. You know, I don't think I don't think Rob Hubbard actually put out a bad tune, honestly. Plenty of bad games, and unfortunately, you know, Rob, he did the music for some of these. Yeah, I don't think there was ever. I mean, they're perfect example. Knuckle Busters. The game is utterly unplayable, but again, it's got a great bit of music. Yeah, you can just. Did Jeff do that? Did Jeff do the music for Jet Set Willy? Jet Set Willy by Tynesoft? That doesn't look like Jet Set Willy. That looks a bit weird. That's not. Oh, hang on a second. In case of Tynesoft's Atari 8-bit version. Oh, it's the Atari one, right? And he did the music for that, right? So I mean, it wasn't just. And I know Jeff did do stuff on the Spectrum. He did stuff on the Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, and then of course he moved across to 16-bit as well. Ace 2, again another absolute stonking track. Oh wow, that is great. It's nice that they've put that in there. Yeah. Ben's story of early musical days and his almost accidental entry into video game music through providing the notes for the Death March for Tony Crowder's game Potty Pigeon. But his story included so much more, performing with bands such as Cold Flame and Losco State Opera, touring in professional productions, working with orchestras and running musical workshops for children. Yeah, Ben touched many lives with his music, his philosophy and his performance. Yeah, I was lucky enough to actually see Ben perform live in one of the with John Hare and is it Mark Knight, I think it was, the Mad Fiddler. Nice little bit. So there, you know, Rob Hubbard's talking Nemesis. He's got his own kind of interview. You can hear what Rob had to say about these games. But it's an absolutely insane amount of work that Rob, the tunes that Rob put out. International Karate Plus, some would say that was probably one of the best soundtracks. It is absolutely. It is a great one in the run. Will always be the one. But I says for you, kind of the technical people, look at that screenshot. That is excellent. The technical people is great. How he talks about the driver update. Yeah, just so much good stuff. What was that there? Okay, yeah, it's not just it's not just about the music. Well, it is about the music, but the fact that they're going into so much detail as well. There you go. What was it? Rob Hubbard reminisces. I can categorically say that this book is quite literally the definitive Rob Hubbard story. You're not going to get anything that's got as much information. The screenshots, various media, plus the fact that you've got access to all the media on, you can download them from the server. It's just fantastic. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into this and getting it finished. I think I'm about probably page 50 so far, but really, really enjoying it. And it's one of these books that it's going to be a limited thing. Go and get it. The thing the wonderful thing about all these kind of books that you're seeing, things like this, the CDs and that Chris Abbott and other people put out, is these guys they're putting out products which are just they're wonderful. They really are. The amount of effort that goes into these, and they're not getting put out by big companies that don't have any interest in the subject matter. These guys live and breathe computer games, and it's hopefully you've seen enough in this video just to see, you can tell the enthusiasm, the passion, and the love that's going into pulling all these together. And it's obviously it's not just the Commodore 64. Rob did do work on other systems. And it's all there laid out for you. And of course, that's a daisy. Where did I go? Yep. Rob's Life. Yeah, that was a game. I can't remember exactly what. Yeah, back in 2017, there was a need for a kickstart to celebrate Rob Hubbard's career, all of it, not just his Sid bits. Yeah. Yeah, this game was put out. I think it was sold through. I think it was sold through. I think it might have been Chris Wilkins. But Jason. I think Jason Page handled the conversion of input from Rob, and Rob did actually write some music for it. So it's probably one of the most up-to-date tunes that you're going to get from Rob. But yeah, so much stuff in here, guys, for you to look for. If you've got any interest in Sid music, especially Rob Hubbard, then I think you're absolutely going to love this. Because the man, there you go, starting to learn. I'm not even going to attempt to read that because I'm a bit too stupid. I'm just one of these people that I just consume all these things. Wow. I mean, this kind of stuff, if it wasn't for this book, this stuff would be lost. It would just disappear. And there you have it. So yeah, listen, folks, that is it. I just wanted to get. Thank you very much to Chris for sending me this PDF. I've thoroughly enjoyed working my way through it. Like I said, I'm only a quarter through into it. There is so much stuff to read, plus the fact it's interactive. You can go onto the media server, you can download the music and tunes, and there's videos and what have you. There is so much here. So, like I says, guys, I am going to put a link to Chris's webpage down below. You can download, you can buy the PDF, and you can also pre-order the hardback book. I think you guys are going to love it, and I will certainly be looking to buy one when it comes out. So anyway, folks, if you've got any questions at all, pop it down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching.